Ladies and gentlemen, we are back at it again with a bit more ZZZ content. And what I wanted to take a look at was a video by good old Tectone himself. And today the subject matter is why Zenless Zone Zero, one of Techless's favorite games, why it is failing. And so I'm interested in hearing just, a few words from the man who's been one of ZZZ's greatest supporters since the start of time. He was actually one of the biggest pushers of the game, despite the fact that Hoyoverse absolutely despises him. And so with that in mind, interested in hearing what he has to say regarding the game and the content creation scene for it as a whole. So with that, without further ado, let's get right on into it. Take it away, Techless.
Hey, what's up, YouTube? This will be some other original content that I would just like to talk about for what is going on in the gacha space that I feel like other people really aren't talking about.
Original content from good old Tectone. That is something we have not seen in a long time. Hats off to the man.
A lot of this video is going to be about Zenless Zone Zero. Now, let me just go ahead and give you guys my whole honest-to-God truth, and I want to say this is not me throwing shade at anybody. Okay, here we go. Oh, is it, Techie? Is it? No, I really don't think it is. I want to tell you guys why Zenless Zone Zero right now is one of the best gacha games I've ever played, and why nobody is playing it, okay? Why nobody is playing it. I use air quotations very seriously. Here is the absolute truth. Here is the absolute reality. For 95 to 98% of creators, Zenless Zone Zero in terms of YouTube and Twitch will get you severely less views than Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, and
I think this is an interesting point, right? Is the problem with ZZZ viewership a result of the game not being watchable or not really being seen well? Or is it the result of people simply not making good content for the game? I've mentioned it once and I'll mention it again when it comes to the content creation scene. When you simply have a higher volume of videos being pushed out for a game, that means that it just naturally gets higher views overall. Because people are going to see more of it from the creators. People are going to see more of it across their YouTube algorithm, and there's likely going to be people clicking into them the more that there are, and then from there, right, it shows up again and again on your feed, and it's kind of like a self-fulfilling cycle, right? It's kind of like they call it the flywheel effect, where once you sort of like get it going, more and more starts coming in. And so it's a matter of like, hey, there are a lot of issues that might be going on with it, right? I'm not sure if it's the gameplay or if it was the TVs that killed all the hype for the game, but the more content that there is, the better the content does. That's kind of like a fact of the matter, especially when it comes to gacha games.
get this, even less than Wuthering Waves.
Think about it this way. Gateo is the only tower of fantasy streamer, and he's probably one of the only people in EN that is making tower fantasy content. And guess what? Bro doesn't really get the views, and there's a reason for that. It could be that his content is bad, which it frankly might be, and it's also the fact that nobody else is streaming or playing it, a bigger issue.
Now, why is this? I have no idea. And that's the point.
Well, now you do. If you watch this, Techie, now you do.
Of this whole video is that creators do not want to cover this game because it is so much harder to get views on Twitch and YouTube that it's making the game seem like it's worse, making the game seem like nobody gives a fuck. But I'll be real, with the amount of revenue that it's getting, I still think it's doing really great. And honestly, I think this game is worth your time. Now, why of all people am I saying this? Well, in case you guys don't know, I am one of the few, I think there's 2 other blacklisted creators in Hoyoverse. Hoyoverse will not sponsor me. They have not sponsored me in about 3.5 years, and I don't think they ever will sponsor me ever again. And that's why I want you to know that the guy that the company refuses to work with is still telling you that this game is worth your time.
I have a similar mindset. I said it before, right? I'll play a game if it's good. I'll play a game if it's enjoyable. I'll play a game if it's something where if I'm viewing the content that I create, the gameplay that I'm putting up, it's something that I am having fun doing. And if I'm actively not having fun with the game, if there are moments in a game where I'm just going in and I'm like, I don't want to play this anymore, I feel the urge to close the program or Alt F4, I'm not really going to play it. And that's what happened to me, right, during Genshin. That's what happened to me during Honkai Star Rail, where I'm going in, I'm going through these events, I'm going through these really annoying parts of the game, and I am quite literally hating it. And so from the perspective of, hey, I think you just make better content when you like the game. You obviously have like more motivation to play it, and it's an enjoyable experience for you when you boot it up. That leads to you making better content. Because when you're thinking about the game, you're thinking about, oh, where are all these great things that I can talk about, instead of why What are all the things I have to get through to actually get to the great things that I want to talk about? Negative emotions, negative thoughts are going to be what's the most prevalent in your mind whenever you think about something. It's pretty much the same exact case for a lot of things. Even if something is like, you know, has good elements, if there's a lot of bad to it, it's really hard to focus on the good. And in that, make good content.
Especially now more than ever with the introduction of 1.4. I mean this from the bottom of my heart. 1.4 for Zenless Zone Zero is one of the funnest times I've ever had in Gacha gaming, and I think it would be very sad if you guys didn't get to experience that. If you've quit the game, if you've never played the game, now is the best time to play. And by the way, I am also streaming it every single day on my Twitch until I beat all the content, in which case I'm out until there's more content. But right,
that viewpoint in a lot of ways can make you be considered a tourist, right? You're only playing it for a short span of time. You're not really getting like a super deep exposure or involvement in the community or like the guide scene or like the meta. But hey, as long as he is, in his opinion, doing content on things that he enjoys, making high quality stuff based off the things that he enjoys, what need really is there to stay longer? Some people like a game so much that they stay committed to it for a long time and follow it, like I do with WuWa. But that doesn't mean that I need to do that forever, right? Or that I can't play other games. I'm just simply playing and covering the content that I enjoy. And I think that's kind of like the viewpoint that a lot of CC should have. Play and make a lot of content for the game that you like a lot. Don't do things you don't enjoy. And after hearing about all of the great feedback for 1.4, all the updates that they made, that's why I decided to try it again. And frankly, from what I've experienced, it's decently good. I just need to see more.
Now, there's so much, it's ridiculous. So why is 1.4 so good, and why am I advocating for this game so much? Well, first of all, I would like to say that a lot of my friends are also streaming this game, and I would love for you guys to go check them out too and support their channel in forms of Fobmaster, Mr. Pokey, Box2, Genizad, Gacha Smack. Did I say Sweetly? I'm not sure, but
You forgot a name, Techless. You forgot a name. You forgot a big one, buddy.
Everybody who's a great creator is streaming this game right now, and it makes me happy seeing all of these people who I consider peers and colleagues, and some of them even friends. I know, very dangerous in the content creating space. I think they're all doing a great job, and it makes me happy seeing so many of them play them. So if you've never heard of any of these guys, I would love for you to go give them a follow on Twitch. They're great people. I care about them very much. And yeah, I hope you'll go support their channels. And the reason why I'm saying that is because the developer team is doing a great job in trying to get more streamers to play this game. They're doing this thing where for 1.4, whoever streams the most gets $8,000, as well as, I believe, 50,000 gems to give away to their community for whoever wins, with diminishing prizes all the way down to the top 200th streamer. So if you want to give it a shot, I feel like everybody has a pretty fair chance of winning something, and anybody who streams the game, and even better, players who just watch the game get free rewards as they're watching any streamer play the game. It can be me, it can be Fob, it can be Pokey, it can be Sweetly, it can be Genizad, it can be Box2, who cares? You can watch any of them and get free shit right now in the game. And I love when companies do this shit. More people should do this. More companies should do this, where if you play our game, we will give you rewards to do.
I wish WuWa did a little bit more of this. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest though, like their prizes for the streaming events or the streaming rewards, they're quite substantial. I feel like they're really, really, really big. Clearly like over at least like $20,000. And that's a lot to shell out just to incentivize people to stream the game or watch the game on stream.
Who are watching you play the game, and we'll give you rewards for even playing our game with day one drops on Twitch, which in case you guys don't know why you should follow me on Twitch, the majority of Gacha games do offer free rewards who watch your stuff, but never in this caliber. So I love giving companies credit where credit's due. They're giving a lot of people a lot of free shit, and you should really give their streams a chance because the creators in this space are good, they're funny, and they're great. And I really wanted to drive home how much I appreciate all of my peers also streaming in this. If I do win first place, I probably won't. I will also be giving all the money away to my community as well as to other content creators to hopefully boost their PCs, boost their careers, and boost their lives.
I do need a new graphics card, Techie.
But yeah, 1.4 for Zenless Zone Zero is a soft reboot of the game. Do you not like the TVs? They're gone. Do you not like the combat? It was revamped. Do you want to play as whoever you want to fucking play as in the towns? Well, now you can. The dialogue has also been revamped, and the story told in 1.4 was the best story ever told in Zenless Zone Zero, as well as one of the best stories told in Gacha gaming. Now, I want to do an addendum, okay?
Proof? We'll be finding that out ourselves, obviously, right? We haven't done 1.4 story yet, and frankly, we haven't really done even like 1.1 or 1.2 or 1.3 story yet. So there's definitely a ton for me to get into to kind of like break down and see whether or not those pieces are actually there. And frankly, I said I was gonna play 1.1 to 1.4 off stream, but I think it might actually be worth it to just see what everything's like from like Jane Doe onwards and actually decide with no recency bias, ladies and gentlemen, no recency bias at all, whether or not 1.4 is actually the best. And me playing through all of that over the course of the next couple of days, I think that's going to be the best way to actually decide that.
The best stories in Gacha gaming, just so you can kind of know where my head's at, just to give you my opinion, where Farina's story in Genshin Impact, Albedo's story for Dragon Spine in Genshin Impact, Adventurine's story and Penacony, although it dragged a little bit, but the payoff was great. Also, he should have died, is what it is. As well as all of Bellabog was probably my favorite in all of Gacha. I really enjoyed Shorekeeper. I really enjoyed Camellia. Wish there was less fan service. I also enjoyed the Avengers timeline for Wuthering Waves. My favorite story in Zenless Zone Zero was Jane Doe's story quest, and now we have Miyabi's story quest, the 1.4 main story. Really good, and I mean this genuinely when I say this. I was having fun. All the way through, laughed constantly. The jokes landed. The combat was great. It was paced out great, and everything made sense. It could have gone much deeper. However, the telling of that story, which was like a 7.5 story, the way they told it was a 10 out of 10. And
so 7.5 like story in terms of like its overall impact and theme, and the 10 out of 10 when it comes to how it's told through like the cutscenes, dialogues, etc., etc. So, hey, sounds a bit like WuWa to me. Though I do find it interesting that he was like a little bit iffy about the Camellia fan service when, like, you know, you got literal character Bernice in Zenless Zone Zero. Like, people have argued with me about it, or like debated me about it. I'm just like, the sheer existence of this character makes this game the most gooner bait game in Gacha gaming. Like, the simple sheer existence that her model is in the game. Yeah, and Jane Doe. Yeah, I mean, it's just, they're in the game by themselves. Like, they're just, it doesn't even matter what they do or like how they act. They're in the game.
I really wish more Gacha games would do this. We don't have to do all of these deep lores, these complex meanings if it's not going to translate well. Just tell a pretty decent story to the best of your ability and players will fucking enjoy it. And it makes me happy. This should be a learning experience.
Guys, superhero movies make a lot more money than, like, you know, the super nuanced 10 out of 10 plot, really deep breakdown of like human society. Iron Man just makes more money because it's cool. It might not be like the most deep or complex story imaginable, but it's just cool. It's got cool explosions and stuff like that. So people just want to watch it. You don't need to have the most amazing ball-busting story ever to be successful or for people to enjoy it. Superhero movies are literal evidence of that. There's a reason why in anime they make so many like quote-unquote trash, to quote Gacha Smack, isekais. There's a reason why they make so many of them, because they're just like dumb, junk, whatever story, but they're fun. They're fun to watch.
Experience for every company going forward. You don't need all this crazy ass shit to happen. You just need to make it feel like crazy it's happening by telling a great story. Okay, because if the story you're telling isn't told fantastically, well, it's going to be fucking mid. The developers are also listening over and over and over and over again for pretty much everything that people are saying what's wrong with their game. If you did not like the TV system, which, by the way, if you liked this TV system, I'm sorry, bro, you're just wrong.
True. The craziest thing that I see on the ZZZ subreddit is all these people talking about how they like TVs, or how they like the implementation of TVs and how they should still be in the game. I'm just like, this is like the biggest self-report that you're like a weirdo. Straight up. That's like the biggest self-report I've ever seen in the space. You're just weird. Like, the TVs are quite literally just like a game-ending mechanic that caused so many people, including myself, to uninstall the game. I cannot imagine how you would be like in such a big support of them. Like, sure, maybe like a teeny little bit, right? But like not to the point of like their actual implementation and shit like Hollow Zero, the story, where it's just so bad.
It was fucking terrible. They replaced it with a Bang Boo Fall Guys. I shit you not. Where you play as a Bang Boo and you do an obstacle course. It's cute, it's funny, it's quick, and it's enjoyable. And that's all that matters.
That's the thing. You could have just done the Bang Boo thing, because the TVs are supposed to represent the proxies, right? Wise and Bell guiding the characters through a hollow with the aid of the Bang Boo. So why not just do the bang boo in the first place? And they finally did it, and the game is so much better for it. Red New? Yeah, I'm glad I clarified the definition of what part of liking TVs makes you a weirdo. I don't think you're that much of a weirdo. If you like the idea of them, that's fine. But if you liked the implementation of them in the game, you're a weirdo. It's cool to like the idea. I don't think it's that cool to like how they actually implemented it across the game.
They completely revamped their beginning story en masse from 1.0 to 1.3. They rewrote it all. Hey, Wuthering Waves, this is about you, you dumb fucks. To all you people at Kuro Games who are not going back, fixing that joke of a story for the first 3 chapters,
oh shit,
shame on you. Because the reason why...
Hey, Techless, they might do it for 2.0. We might have to make a new account at some point just to see what it's like in 2.0.
People don't want to play your fucking game is because the first 3 chapters are so goddamn bad that nobody gives a fuck about this world you're trying to build. Thank God you have a skip option, because I guarantee you nobody is sitting through that shit.
Well, I did. It wasn't that bad.
It is fucking terrible. Kuro, get your head out of your ass and fix the first 3 chapters. They are fucking bad. And even that dick sucker Saint Tontas.
So, I am mentioned in this video. I am actually name dropped in this video. I would like to confirm, live, after that terrible accusation, I do not, in fact, actually suck dicks. In fact, Techless, based off this screen pause over here, you're making a pretty good dick-sucking face yourself, buddy.
Would agree. Just farming, Saint Tontas. I knew if I said that, you'd react to my video, and I'm trying to get you to branch out a little bit more. I got nothing but respect for you, man. For now, bitch, fuck you. Relaxing. Yeah, they revamped everything that sucked, they got out. They put the shit in. It's great. Did you not like the combat system where there was only one ult mechanic? Well, you should have, because it was not good.
Again, I saw people on the ZZZ subreddit. Ladies and gentlemen, I saw people in the ZZZ subreddit defending the one ult mechanic. They're now saying,
oh my gosh, it's disrupting the flow of combat to have all 3 of my characters' ultimates now. I really like the one ultimate system.
Shut up. Just shut up. The game was objectively worse with only having one ultimate because you quite literally had no reason to use 2 of the ultimates on your team. It was one of the stupidest mechanics they could have put into the game. And now that it's removed, the combat feels so much better. It's honestly like night and day for me. Now that I can actually combo ults together, like get additional iframes and then just do like some fun stuff, it's literally just so much better. To defend it by saying, oh my gosh, the combat now is like, it has too many pauses and feels slow. Shut up. That's toxic positivity, okay? That is actually toxic positivity. When you take a feature that they added to the game that's objectively good, that improves it, just straight up makes it better, and then you're like,
oh, well, it's actually not that good. Oh, it made the game worse.
My God.
Go back to the old way.
My God. That is toxic positivity. Okay, and you can see it in the ZZZ subreddit for everybody that was defending the previous implementation of TVs, and everybody that was like saying 3 ults instead of 1 is bad. Okay, that's toxic positivity right there.
Okay, because you only got to see 1 ult, your other characters felt like an afterthought, and it was bad. But now all 3 characters can ult, and all of their 3 ults exist separately. It's very good. With characters like Burnus, you can ult, swap cancel while she's still going, and do your ult again on top of her, swap cancel again, and go on Miyabi and ult, so you can get 3 ults happening at the same fucking time. Everything feels great.
It's just, how can you dislike the idea of chaining together ultimates and then just having like an absolute like clusterfuck of damage on the field? Genuinely, it's cool. It's so cool. And then you're just dealing like a shit ton of damage. Like, I've never used Sokaku's ultimate before, and now I'm spamming it every single fight, and it's cool.
Everything feels snappy, and the game feels fucking fantastic. Zenless Zone Zero, thank you for listening to your fucking players. Miyabi is one of the coolest characters ever introduced in Gacha gaming. In case you don't know her, she's a mix of Virgil from Devil May Cry 5 with Sam from Metal Gear Rising, Metal Gear Rising, which was a great fucking game. She is OP as fuck. Yep, she breaks the fucking game.
True. She's overpowered. She's overpowered. She's actually too strong. That's fair. One of my first ZZZ videos is going to be about how she kind of fucked up the game in like a sort of good way, but she still kind of fucked it up. I think the biggest part about it, right, is she is the like antithesis of Goonerbait. And her being this popular, despite not having like the characteristics, you know, the characteristics of the other characters, I kind of like it. You sold the character because she's cool.
Don't need any of the other characters. If you have Miyabi, she is busted. Miyabi at M0 is stronger than their first banner unit at M6. Holy f***ing power creep. That being said, I don't care because she is fun as fuck, and I believe that every character should be that OP at M0, so I hope they scale up all the characters. I hope in the next coming patches, they introduce some supports to make the pre-existing characters just as strong as her, and I believe that they will. I have a lot of faith for this company, and I have a lot of faith in their game modes.
I think that there are a couple of methods that they can do to bring up the power levels, especially of a character like Ellen, right? I think that she has set a new standard for DPS, and there needs to be something that brings the other characters up, because God almighty, you need a new set for Ellen, or like a new supremely tailored support that just makes her a lot better. And guys, 3-team combat, no, just stop it. This is copium, okay?
Oh, you need 3 teams.
No. They already have like a bunch of DPSs in the game. It's not like they're gonna be spamming double ice everywhere. No. You already got Bernice, you already got Jane Doe, you already got Harumasa, you already got pink hair Japanese businesswoman. You already have like a DPS like of all of these different things. Ellen needs to be either at like 95 or like 90% of Miyabi's strength. Otherwise, you just end up with shit like Honkai Star Rail, where it's like Sela's like, who? Blade's like, who? Jing Lu is like, Jing no. Impossible. It's so bad, the balance in that game.
In the span of 24 hours, they took the goon out of Zenless Zone
Jing
Zero.
Hu, yeah.
They made it to where you could turn the camera and your character would disappear, so you could not jerk off to their ass.
Why did he just say it like that? He just said that in like the most nonchalant way.
However, after hearing player outrage, they fixed it after 16 hours, and they gave everybody a free 10 pull for fucking with their goon sesh. 1.4 is in the Zone Zero. Devs, once again, thank you for listening and fixing your fucking game.
This is also one of the bigger reasons why I wanted to play ZZZ. It's the fact that the devs fucking fixed the game. The devs actually fixed the game. They listened to what people are saying, and then they fixed the game. It's actually crazy. You've never seen this from Hoyoverse before. Are you damaged? Like, your HP bar is not full. Glazing the game too much can make the devs complacent, though, and hurt the game in the long run. You need healing. You actually need healing. Is it so hard to understand that the devs were heavily critiqued, basically shit on in a lot of ways, and then they fixed the game, and now you're like, oh, you know what? Oh, we shouldn't say that they did a good job. Huh? I think bro's got a point. Look at Genshin. Do you know what happens in Genshin Impact? The game is fucked up, and every single time the devs ignore fixing the fuck-ups, they get glazed. It's like the player base congratulates the devs for not fixing the game. That's what happens in Genshin and Honkai. It is literally not even close to what's happening. And so I'm a person, right? I'm a creator that will see somebody fixing the game, that will see somebody actively making good changes. And I'll say, good job. This is great. This is awesome. This has made the game better. And you're like,
Oh, we can't do that too much. Oh, we can't do that too much.
just shut up. Back in 2020, we thought it was going to be better. Everybody thought it was going to get better. And then it just stayed the same. They never made updates to the game. They never fixed anything. They only started fixing once Wuthering Waves got released. That's when they started actually adding changes to the game. They didn't do shit until May of this year. Oh, guys. Holy shit. Oh my gosh. Guys, this is how the Kuro and Hoyo community unites. Remember every single time we said something good about WuWa?
But it's not that good. It could be better. It could be better. You know what? It's not that good. It could be better. It doesn't matter what they did, because it could always be better, right? It could be better.
Everything in the history of mankind that has ever been produced or created could be better. It's just, how is that a valid critique for anything that it could be better when literally everything on the planet could be better? What in the world can't be better? How is this an actual critique? It's so stupid, it's ridiculous. It's so dumb to be like, you know what? It's good, but it's actually not that good. It could be better. You could say that about anything. Literally anything. I'm not saying it doesn't matter. It's just that they should strive for more excellence. Or else it will get... What is... They literally dropped some of the best updates that the game has ever seen, and you literally refuse to recognize them,
And then you're just like, well, it could be better. Oh, well, we can't. Hey, we can't talk about it too much. It could be better.
It's such a like an insufferable point of view for people to have, where it's just something is really, really, really good, has like a bunch of great things, great updates that made things objectively better. And then the first point that you have to say is that,
it could be better. Well, they didn't do everything. It could be better.
it's just such a loser mindset. Like when somebody does something good, why can't you recognize that or like applaud it? Why do you have to just be in the back of the room being like,
Well, it could be better.
it's just so insufferable to any discussion. Like, Jesus Christ. You do realize what positive reinforcement is, right? I'll use the same exact example that I use for WuWa. You go to school, you take an exam, you get your score, and it's a 97%. You come home, right? You show your parents, and they say, it could be better. Why didn't you get 100? Why didn't you get 100? You only got a 97. Why isn't it 100? Just such a trash mindset. It's such a bad mindset to have. You think that promotes good behavior? It's awful. How about this, Noel AC? How about you first get evidence that they're not going to make any more changes, right? How about you get proof that they're going to just do this one good thing and then not do anything else? And you're calling 1.4 a lackluster update? Huh? This is such a Debbie Downer take. This is just such a disturbing Debbie Downer take. How would I standardize lackluster updates when I'm saying 1.4, all I've heard from it is good, and so the devs should be congratulated? How is that standardizing lackluster updates? Telling somebody that they did a good job when they did a good job. That's standardizing lackluster updates? That's how your brain works? Don't spin it? Brother, you're spinning what I'm saying as me standardizing lackluster updates. What do you mean don't spin it? That's all you've been doing. You're like a fucking Beyblade. You're literally Camellia E right now. How about they show signs that they're stopping the momentum before you say that? What? It's literally, there's nothing wrong, and you're saying, oh, but what if something goes wrong? It's just such a loser, Debbie Downer mindset. You bring the energy down wherever you go. You see somebody doing a good job, you see somebody give them praise, and you're like, well, what if they fuck up later? That's a loser mindset that nobody wants to be around. Maybe you did give them praise, Null AC, but then you immediately follow up with, what if they fuck it up later? Loser arguments, loser mindset. Loser behavior, actual buzzkill, bum-like behavior. Imagine the game literally just gets better. It's just such a sad mindset to have where something objectively great happens and the only thing you can think about is how it can get worse. What? If a team scores well in a soccer game, you don't want them to score again. Oh my God. Okay, we're dealing with somebody a little bit dented, ladies and gentlemen. We're dealing with someone severely dented, ladies and gentlemen. Quite literally an analogy out of left field that makes absolutely no sense and no relation at all to the subject matter. Okay, take a 30-minute timeout. I've shit on ZZZ so much. I've shit on ZZZ so much, but it's just, I can recognize when stuff is good, when good changes are made. And this guy is just coming in with the most bum-like loser mindset arguments I've ever seen. Oh, I am the point of authority. I am the point of authority here. How dare you congratulate a person for doing well? You always had to think about how it could be worse. What if they stop doing that, even though they haven't said it? What if they stop doing that good, even though they've shown no evidence of it? We always had to think about how they could fuck it up, even though they just fixed everything. Oh, look, I found another bum. I found another one. Losers are like stands. If you know JoJo, losers are like stands. They attract each other. They naturally gravitate towards each other. You already gave me content. You've been writing freaking essays in here. You're literally the part 2. Calling someone a loser and dented because they said a game could be better. I literally explained it. I quite literally explained it. I said that if you're somebody where if somebody makes good changes or somebody does well and you compliment them and the only thing you can say is, well, it's actually not that great, it could be better, you're a bum. That's a loser mindset. Never congratulate anything, always think about how it could be better instead of recognizing that something's done well. That's a loser mindset. Like, geez, has nobody ever congratulated you before? Has nobody ever told you good job? These have to be people in their daily life or whatever. They've never been congratulated or told that they've done something well. They've never like felt what that feels like. It's just so weird. Like, that's what it has to be, right? When your first response to something that's been done well is, well, it could be better. Oh, it's not that big of a deal. It could be better. Just go win at something for once. Go win at something at least a single time and then recognize what the feeling of accomplishment is. Like, just a single time. Get some positive validation and you'll recognize what I'm talking about. I will not give you content anymore, sorry. And then he types another message. Buddy, If you're gonna say something like this, you might as well stick to your word. If I said something that gave you some deep urge to type, part of it was probably true. So I think you typing this after saying you're not gonna give me any more content, I think that speaks volumes about you, buddy.
There's tons of free rewards in Zenless Zone Zeros right now, as well as a free 5-star character, Harumasa. In case you're familiar with Dr. Ratio, they're pretty much in the same power tier.
I think that's potentially objectively wrong. I heard Harumasa actually sucks ass, and he's like not good. I do think that Harumasa might actually be like legitimately bad. I heard people saying Anton is better, but we might have to test that out. We might have to build him and see if that's actually true. But Dr. Ratio is considered one of like the best single target DPSs in the game. Pretty good.
If you have Zhu Yuan, Harumasa is essentially a weaker version of Zhu Yuan. That's fine because you can just use 2 Zhu Yuans. We need 3 teams now, which is great for the new game mode that's coming out soon. So the more 5 stars, the better. And knowing that you can get Miyabi, who's great, also have Harumasa for free. That's 2 teams taken care of. You're good to go. Feels great.
If he actually does perform at higher levels than what I've heard, then yeah, you have everything you would need to tackle the end game. Tackle all those 3-team content, right?
Yeah, the rigging of the models is better than any other gacha game.
All right, Elastica.
If you want to see characters have fun, be cute, be quirky, and emote, you will not see anything better in any other gacha game than you do in Zenless Zone Zero. Their boobies are bigger, their asses are fatter, and them johns are jiggly. So if you are a fucking gooner, you will love this fucking game. The end game mode, I actually tried for
Why do you think Techie loves it so much?
Mass on stream, and it was actually one of the funnest times I've ever had. Miyabi shit on everything. My current teams right now are Miyabi, Yanagi, and Caesar. My other team is Burnus, Lighter, and I set him on fire, and then I punch him. Jane Doe. Sorry, I cannot believe I forgot that. Jane Doe's hot as fuck, by the way. Everybody should check her out. One of the hottest characters in gaming. I just forgot because that white girl, when she throws her ass, when she tosses out the double inferno, sometimes I forget who I'm talking about.
Remember what I said at the start? The sheer fact that Jane Doe and Bernice exist in the game, that's just gooner bait. You're just offering yourself up on a silver platter.
Yeah, but there's a reason that people tend to look down on the WuWa community.
Oh yeah, it's the act of one content creator who talks about the game and talks about when the devs do a good job, he says the devs do a good job. Oh yeah, that's why people look down on the WuWa community.
Her ass when she tosses out the double inferno. Sometimes I forget who I'm talking about. Yeah, both the teams are great. I shit on all the end game mode in about an hour, and it was very fun throughout. It is quite literally, if you can parry it, if you can dodge it, you can beat it. All the HP bars seemed pretty balanced to me.
I feel like I was fighting for a long time unless I was playing Miyabi in Shiyu defense. At least in my opinion. I thought I was fighting for a long time.
I beat almost every single round in about 2 minutes. And I'm very happy with that. Seems good. I don't think you need that crazy of an account to beat all the endgame mode, which is good because it's fast-paced combat fun, and that's what I fucking like. The tower, however, on the other hand, will eventually become a bullet sponge. However, you can get all meaningful rewards in the first 25 floors, which everybody should be able to clear or get close to clearing all those pretty damn easily. But yeah, I wanted to make this video to say, if you gave up on Zenless Zone Zero, I really think you should give it another shot. I don't think you will have more genuine fun in a game than Zenless Zone Zero. The way they tell their story is like no other.
Well, maybe not the genuine fun part.
Are very simplistic, but they still feel alive. The characters are like a comic book setting. The combat is very fun. The rewards are very fair. The only biggest downside they have is that it's very hard to build characters in this game. In Honkai Star Rail, it takes about 28 days.
Agreed. And that's why I think the UI part gets a little bit funky because it takes so long to build characters. There's so many different like things that it feels like every character requires to level up. So many like different materials. And it gets to the point where like you end up just stuck in the UI because there's so many different things to like do or upgrade. It might actually be the same amount of like upgrade materials to like do the characters, but it's just the menus with it and the amount of building that you have to do. It makes the UI feel worse than it is. I think that's also part of it. Just the sheer amount of resources you need, like the crafting, like you have to go from like, okay, now you go to the crafting menu and then you come back. It's a lot.
In Zenless Zone Zero, it takes about 39. That's my biggest thing right now is I want more content creators to cover this game because I do feel like if they did, these issues that the community can be aware of would be bitched about far quicker. Now, I'm not somebody who thinks content creators do a lot for the game, but I do realize there are certain points where if there is an issue with the game, content creators can kind of speed up the process of the variety of issues that can hopefully get them fixed more for games like Wuthering Waves or Zenless Zone Zero.
And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, I plan on releasing some big critiques about Zenless Zone Zero in the next coming weeks. Some very big critiques about the leveling system, the UI, and a couple of other things. Because that, my friends, is where the game could legitimately get better. But I'm actually bringing reasons for it and actually bringing examples, not just making blanket statements like it could be better.
Where the devs are actually listening, which I greatly appreciate. In any type of game where the devs are working in tandem with their players, I love and respect. I like feeling like I can be able to communicate with these devs. I like when they take our feedback and make the game better for everyone, and I think they're doing a damn good job. If you want to follow my Twitch, watch my Zenless Zone Zero, you can. There'll be a link in the description, and thank you so much for watching. But I just wanted to say, content creators, if you're out there, give Zenless Zone Zero another chance. There's free money involved for all you cheap fucks who only do shit for cash, and that's okay, man. A bag's a bag. Go get what you want. But yeah, and encourage your favorite streamer who's in the gacha space to give Zenless Zone Zero a try if they're not already. I would love to see more fresh faces in the Zenless Zone Zero category because the game is very good and it deserves your playtime and it deserves your respect. It's great. Give it a shot. I've been Tectone. See y'all later.
Well, we're about to do that right now. So overall, I think that was a great video, Tech. I think you gave like a very fair viewpoint of the entire situation, where the devs have objectively improved the game and where, again, they could still do better. Just the sheer number of examples, the whole context behind the situation, it was awesome. And hopefully a lot of other content creators are going to take the opportunity to actually test it out for themselves and in a lot of ways give this game a second chance, because I can see the improvements. I've experienced a lot of them already. There are obviously some rough edges around the game that can still be fixed, but it's a process to get all those fixed, and the devs have clearly put a foot forward in improving them, and it's different than a lot of other games, especially those under the Hoyoverse umbrella. It's a good direction, and we're going to see probably a lot more improvements, but they need more of like that public push and those public critiques to get it all done. But give praise where praise is due. And the devs of ZZZ deserve their praise for 1.4. Let me know what you all thought of that. Obviously, we did have a little bit of a PvP session with the chatters, but I think it was a good one, because one thing that I don't want in my community is this mindset that anytime something's done well, your first response is it could be better. Loser mindset. I hate it. Get it out of here. Peace out.